Good morning, NewsInMotion family. Good morning. I am Deborah Johnson. I am sitting in for Gail Dudley today. She is getting some much deserved rest. It's been a long, a little over a week since we've been together. And so I'm just saying good morning, good morning, good morning. As we come in the room, good morning. I want to say, hey, good morning to all of you who are new to NewsInMotion. We are a grassroots aggregated news outlet sharing relevant commentary and a call to action mixed with an inspirational message. Our NewsInMotion family is joining us via Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, and our podcast and our audio listeners. I'm just saying good morning to all of you. I have missed you all. Good morning, Shirley Nicholson. How you doing this morning? Good morning, Tracy Newmy. Good morning, Robert Holman. Why are you coming in this morning? There's been so much going on. If you can just tell us how you spent your Thanksgiving weekend. What was it like? What did you do? What was the best part of your last week? Just let us know in the comments. We just want to know what you did this weekend, how it was, what was going on. Hey, good morning, Kenny Stanley. It's so good to have you here. Cannot wait to hear your message today. Lots going on there. Good morning, Kim Miller Edmondson. How you doing? It's so good to see you this morning. Hey, Camille Jones. Mary Jenkins, good morning. Latrice, I want to stop right now and say, Latrice, today we're going to have the show you've been looking for. Hopefully in 15, no more than 20 minutes, you're going to be in and out, having your coffee, doing what you need to do. NewsInMotion is going to be on it and then off it, okay? It's been a long week. Good morning, Antoinette. It's good to see you this morning. Rosanna Bivens, good to see you this morning. It's so good to see everyone coming in the room. It has been a long week on my end. Good gracious. So much so with our family, we didn't even have Thanksgiving until last night. Like Thanksgiving last night. Hey, Jacqueline Rutledge, good to see you this morning. Oh, great. Antoinette's saying Thanksgiving was surrounded by family. Nothing like family. In fact, so much so, even though we couldn't do Thanksgiving all together on Thanksgiving, we did Thanksgiving last night or yesterday into last night. Thus, the raspy voice this morning. Seriously, okay? Big time. But guess what? We're here this morning and we're doing our thing. Hey, good morning, Regina Shorts. Good to see you this morning. Oh my gosh. Kenny, whose birthday is it? I'm seeing it there, but I'm not seeing whose birthday it is. And we don't want to miss anybody's birthdays. Oh my goodness. We're coming into the home stretch of the year. That is for sure. It's so good to see everyone here this morning. There's been so much news, but I wanted to hear your good news before we dive into what happened while we were away. It was like the Wild Wild West out there, guys. There's a lot going on. Rosanna Lee Bivens, happy birthday to you from the NewsInMotion family. Happy birthday to you. Lori Wallace, happy Monday. How's it going? How did you spend your Thanksgiving? We want to know what you did. Put it in the chat. Hit like, hit share. We just want to make sure that people who are trying to find NewsInMotion can find it today. It is so good to see you all. It is so much going on. I'm not going to delay it long because we got a lot of stuff going on. Okay, Tracy, we see you. Another tiger. The tigers are in the house. Can I just say that? Tigers are in the house over here. I don't know if you guys know this, but I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and I also went to East High, but I'm a Blue Bomber. But when I'm here, I've heard about tigers so much. They tore my school down. I may have to jump on the tiger wagon and have an East High that I can touch, see, and feel. I still have my wonderful East High family back in Cleveland, but we don't have our school anymore. But every time I drive by East High here, I smile when I think about our NewsInMotion family. You know, we're not going to delay it too long. Wait, let's see what's going on here. Thanksgiving was great for Jacqueline Rutledge. Oh my goodness, at your nephew's home, playing games. Love games. Love getting together with family and playing games. It's so good to see you all. It's a blessing. Well, you know what? We got a lot going on. I don't want to delay it. I can't wait to get to Kenny. So I want to start off. And unfortunately, a lot went on in a way that we didn't want it to go on this past week. I thought, what is going on with gun violence in the United States? Can I just do what's going on? So while we were away, a 22-year-old gunman entered an LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado Springs just before midnight last week on Saturday and immediately opened fire. And according to CNN, killing at least 5 people, injuring 25 others before the patrons confronted and stopped him. The suspect in the shooting at Club Q was identified as Anderson Lee Aldridge. And according to Colorado Springs Police Chief Adrian Vasquez, he used a long rifle in the shooting, and 2 firearms were found at the scene. At least 2 people inside the club confronted and fought the gunman, preventing further violence, Vasquez says, and we owe them a great deal of thanks. Police said they were investigating whether the attacks was a hate crime, and noted that Club Q's relationship with the LGBT community. I mean, this is just a sad day. I can't even imagine. You're out for a good time, you're out having fun with your friends, and then firearms come out. Gunfire is happening. People are diving and running. But in this case, some folks stepped up and they took care of it. What's going on with this gun violence? Can somebody just help us out with that? What's going on with all this gun violence? And then on another front, here we go again with Walmart. I mean, is there any place safe to go? People say, well, I don't go out to clubs at night. That's why I don't go out at night. Well, guess what? Last Tuesday night, people were just going to Walmart 2 days before Thanksgiving. They're just going to Walmart, getting their turkey, getting the things they needed to do. And a shooter there, at least 6 people were killed in the mass shooting there. The shooter is also dead, city officials said early that morning. Officers responded to the store less than an hour before closing around 10:12 p.m. and found the victims and an evidence of the shooting. The Chesapeake Police Information Officer, Leo Kaczynski, told CNN five patients were being treated at Centera General Hospital in Norfolk, Virginia. I moved here from that area. Just can't even imagine it. According to CBS NewsHour, the gunman was identified as Andre Bing. He legally purchased the 9mm handgun used in the shooting from a local store earlier that day. No waiting period, no checking him out for, to make sure. But they said there was no criminal history, and he died of the self-inflicted wound. And like a large majority of the U.S. states, Virginia does not require a waiting period between the time of purchase and the actual physical transfer of a firearm, according to the nonprofit Giffords Law Center. I just want you to weigh in on that. Should people have to wait before buying a firearm? If they should, how long should they wait? What are we saying out there? Good morning, Judy Neal. It's good to see you. Glad you had a great Thanksgiving. But should people have to wait before they get a firearm? I'd love to hear from you on that one. According to a BBC report, in 2020 alone, more than 45,000 Americans died at the end of a barrel of a gun, whether by homicide or suicide, more than any other year on record. This is the last year that we have statistics for that. The figure represents a 25% increase from 5 years prior, a 43% increase from 2010. Now get this one. The U.S. ratio of 120.5 firearms per 100 residents. Okay? So more than 1 firearm per resident, up from 88 per 100 in 2011, far surpasses that of any other country in the world. Okay, Marion Jackson saying this is the reason gun laws need to be revised and be more restrictive. Marion Jenkins says, yes, 21 days minimum. When you think about crimes of passion, a person gets fired up. They don't know what they're doing with themselves. They're just angry. And then bam, there's a firearm. Here we go. Kim Edmondson says they're trying to put more guns and not less in the hands of people here in Ohio. I agree with you with that. Kim. It's scary. And does it really solve anything? Back in the early fall, I went to the UK, and I was amazed that not even the police officers carry guns, and their gun violence is down exponentially. That's not the way. And when they do have a police officer with a firearm, they have a specially trained force that's called in when there's a situation. Jacqueline Rutledge says, yes, there should be a waiting period to get any kind of firearm, not just including AR-15s. A thorough background check should be mandatory. I agree with you with that. Very thorough. I mean, afterwards, we're always hearing about, but there was some mental illness. There was something going on. Once they looked into it, can we look into it on the front end and not on the back end? It's just frightening. And we're trying not to be scared every time we leave the house, but there's a lot going on. But before we get into any more just the sadness, I wanted to get this out of the way. I want us to have a little lighthearted fun, even though Kenny, I want to bring Kenny in after we listen to our game intro, have game intro coming in, a game over intro, but we need to hear from Kenny and find out what happened this weekend. Good morning, Kenny. Oh my goodness. I've been waiting for you since Saturday, okay? Since Saturday.
How y'all doing? Hey, how's everybody doing this morning? Okay. Hey, NewsInMotion family. Good morning. Welcome to Game Over with me, Kenny Stanley. What a weekend in sports we had this weekend. College football topped it all because it was rivalry weekend. And what a weekend it was. Some hearts were broken. Mine was. And some people got some joy. It started Friday with the rivalry games as Florida State beating in-state rival Florida 45-38. I do believe that gave Florida State the sweep of the Florida games because I do believe they beat Miami earlier in the season. So Florida got the sweep, got the season sweep. I mean, Florida State got the season sweep over Miami and Florida this year. But yeah, Florida State beat Florida 45-38. North Carolina State marched into Chapel Hill and marched out with a double overtime victory over North Carolina, 30-27. Texas came from behind to beat Baylor, 38-27. And on Saturday, there was a whole lineup of rivalry games. Georgia smashed Georgia Tech, 37-14. UC beat Notre Dame, 38-27. Alabama rolled over Auburn, 49-27. Way to go! That I guess that's good for Jeffrey Allen James and Mike Nicholson. So I guess y'all happy because Alabama got a victory. South Carolina beat their in-state rival Clemson, 31-30. At the end of the game, they showed quarterback Spencer Rattler in the locker room smoking a cigar because they just rolled over Clemson. So I guess that was a big win for them. Oregon State came from behind to beat Oregon 38-34. This game in the middle of the third quarter was 31-10. Only thing Oregon could do after that was kick a field goal. And then after that, Oregon State ran off 28 unanswered points to get the victory. Like I said, 38-34. That was a great game. Now, the game I know everybody want to talk about, Kim Miller-Everson, give me a break. Latrice Jones, give me a break. But I know everybody want to hear about this one. Ohio State versus Michigan. For the second year in a row, Michigan smacked Ohio State square in the mouth. The final score was 45-23. I was listening to Ryan Day's interview after the game, and I swore I heard the voice of John Cooper reincarnated. Honestly, that's what the last 2 years have reminded me of. John Cooper's team's beating everybody in the country, but then you turn around, you get to the Michigan week, and it looked like you don't even practice for the game. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me. How you can be so fired up, but you go in and you lay a goose egg like this. It doesn't make any sense to me. Ryan Day is going to have to get tougher on discipline because the players didn't show any. The dumb penalties, headbutting a player out of bounds and the referee standing right there. It don't make no sense to me. Ryan Day is going to have to establish an identity. Are we a run team? Or are we a passing team? Daylon Hayden, for the past 2-3 weeks, he was the main ball carrier for Ohio State. He didn't touch the ball maybe but 3 times Saturday. What is that? Then you're gonna move the linebacker back to running back, and he gets all the carries. He hadn't carried the ball all season. You got to establish an identity, man. I don't understand it. Ryan Day, I don't know what you're doing, but your days is numbered. Our defensive backs, you got to do better than what you was doing Saturday. How you keep peeking in the backfield, looking for the run, and you got receivers running past you. You are a safety, the last line of defense. Nobody's supposed to get behind you. But y'all peeping in the backfield when the front 7 had the run game locked down, at least for the first half at least, and maybe the first couple of series in the second half. They had the run game locked down. So why are you looking in the backfield? Cover the daggone receiver. But there it goes again. That's discipline. That's discipline. Ryan Day, you got to right the ship, man. If you don't right the ship, we're not going to wait like we did with John Cooper, not here in Ohio. You're going to get the dough. That's what's going to happen. You can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing this, and especially against Michigan. In the NFL, well, with that being said, both teams – well, back to the college. With that being said, if both teams, these two teams don't make the playoffs, because it's going to take a lot for them to backdoor their way in. As for me, I don't think you deserve to go. But if these two teams don't back their way into the playoffs, I would love to see Alabama versus Ohio State. I would love to see it. That'll give something everybody want to see. Or Alabama's fans travel well. Ohio State's fans travel well. Let's get it on. Let's settle it on the field because we got a lot of Alabama fans that talk about Ohio State, and you got some Ohio State fans that talk about Alabama, almost just as much as Ohio State, Michigan, or Alabama, Auburn. So let's get it on. Let's see if that game can work out. In the NFL, how about the Browns? They won in overtime yesterday, and they beat Tampa Bay 23-17. I keep telling everybody it's time for Tom Brady to retire. I guess that gives Ohio a kind of a reprieve because Tom Brady did play for Michigan and Cleveland did beat him. So I guess that kind of make it feel all right. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. The Bengals went to Tennessee and beat the Titans 20-16. Washington beat the Atlanta Falcons 19-13. The Chiefs over the Rams 26-10. The Eagles won a slugfest against the Packers, and they beat the Packers 40-23. What is Pittsburgh going to do tonight? They got the Colts tonight in Monday Night Football. Will Pittsburgh do what they're supposed to do and get a win, or will the Colts win? I mean, right now, it's the battle of the cellar dwellers. Let's see what's going to happen. Hey, that's sports. Game over. Back to Miss Deborah Johnson for more news on NewsInMotion. I see everybody on Thursday.
Thanks for that, Kenny. My Browns won. That righted my weekend for me. I am a diehard Browns fan since I was born. So thank God for that win yesterday to get everything working for me for the rest of the week. And so back in news right now, as we're talking about sports, the internet was blowing up yesterday. Kenny and I talked about this. We think it's pretty much a non-story. Odell Beckham, wide receiver, NFL free agent, got on the plane, was tired, fell asleep. When asked to put his seatbelt on, they said he seemed to be coming in and out of consciousness. But before he could figure out what was going on, they called in the emergency personnel, took him off the plane, deplane the plane. A lot going on there. Not sure what the whole story is, but I'm sure we will hear more about it. But according to his agent, Dan DeVilliers, he says that this was a non-incident. He said he felt like it was he states the overzealous flight attendant refused to simply allow Mr. Beckham to fasten his seatbelt and proceed with the flight instead of immediately removing everybody from the plane. I'm sure there's more to that story. Don't know what it is, but I'm sure we'll hear about it. But I know the internet was blowing up about that. Good morning, Deborah Steed. It's good to see you here this morning. Good morning, Adrian Gladys. Also good to hear you, to see you this morning. Another story I want to bring up, and it's such a feel-good story. Who doesn't love Al Roker? And according to Today, he's home from the hospital he got home just in time for Thanksgiving. He on Tuesday of last week, on November 24th, he shared that he had an issue with blood clots, and the blood clots in his legs actually traveled to his lungs, which is very dangerous. And he even got to watch a little bit of the annual Macy's Day Parade. He said he has not missed a Macy's Day Parade for 28 years. And there he was. I absolutely love Al Roker, Kim Edmondson. He's just such a cool guy. I got to meet him way back when at a management luncheon, and he was just so engaging. I think he's just way more than a weather guy. He's just an all-around good guy who gives us great news and keeps us up on the weather. Now, Al, we're hoping that you get better and better, and we see you back on the scene real soon. Well, it's Cyber Monday, guys. It's Cyber Monday. I don't know about you, but it feels like since June, we've been having Black Fridays. Every time I turn around, it's another Black Friday sale. It's like Black Friday in July, Black Friday in September, getting a jump on. Does anybody have any money left? I just want to know how many people are going to be after Small Business Saturday, which I hope people took advantage of. There's a lot of small businesses out there, but now it's Cyber Monday. So if there's anybody with a small business out there who wants to put in the chat what they have to offer for Small Business Monday, please put it out there. Good morning, John Gorey. Yes. It's good to see you this morning. But it's Cyber Monday, and I just want to give you a couple of tips that I picked up on the National Holidays site on how to observe Cyber Monday. I know, Friday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, it goes on, Lori Wallace. It really does. They say when it comes to holiday shopping, we all want to get the best deals on the best gifts. And while we're on the internet, it's important to be safe while we're being savvy shoppers. So number one, we want to make sure you make a list and stick to it. This will also help you to stay on budget. Don't we know it? Before you know it, you're shelling out way more money than you can. And with the recession and things going on, the list gets longer than you intended it to be. So it's really important to think about what your budget's going to be. Otherwise, oh wait, who's not broke? Okay, I got you. Okay, Deborah Sneed. Oh no, Deborah Sneed said, no, she is broke. I get it. After all of these shopping days. So make a list, right? And stick to it. This will also help you to stay on budget. Stick to trusted websites and be wary of spam and scams and spoof sites. Can I just tell you about that for a second? Ever since I hurt my ankle, I have been wearing Hokas, and I've been putting on these shoes, and they cost way too much, but my doc said it'll help my ankle, stabilize. So I've gone and put them, I go out and I get them in a couple of colors. I'm on Facebook last week, and I see Hokas for like $50 when they're usually way more than $50. So I thought, oh my gosh, this must be like an early Black Friday special. And just as I was about to push the button to buy them, I looked at the URL, and it wasn't Hoka.com. It was Hokashoes.com. And I said, wait a minute, Hoka shoes, that doesn't sound right. So I go online, I look it up. What do I find out? It's a really a scammy like site. They sell second-rate shoes and not real Hokas. And I was so glad that I listened to that voice in the pit of my stomach that says, don't do it. Before you go on any site, go and check the reviews. If it's a site you're not used to, if it's a site you always use, then you know it's probably okay. But if it's not a site that you use on a regular basis, look it up. If it seems like it's too good to be true with this sale, it probably is. Look it up before you send the money out. It's much harder to get your money back. But really, shop local websites. Many businesses and also participate, small businesses in Cyber Monday. So you may find a deal you didn't even expect. So if there's folks out there, hey, Lori William Wallace says, somehow I didn't spend any money last weekend. Pays to stay home. I'm with you. But with this ankle, I've been staying at home. It's easy to save some money. I get it. But check your favorite retailer's social media feeds for the best deals. Look around and make sure you're getting the best deal. And sometimes the deal is not really a deal. Shirley Nicholson says she never buys off of any of those sites on Facebook. They're usually overseas. And that is correct, or substandard sometimes. But you always want to, Mary Jenkins says, always confirm the URL is real before you do business, with them. Rosanna Bivens says, I work as a credit card fraud investigator since 1990. There's a lot of booby traps. It's really sad, but people take advantage of people during these times. And what should be a happy time of the year can be really bad. When all the shopping is done, though, be sure to monitor your credit card accounts for any kind of suspicious activity. Put a tracker on there, put alerts on there. Check them every day if you have to. People can get in under the radar, and before you know it, it's a lot to unpack. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to be in that situation if you don't have to. On a much sadder note, I don't know how many people remember it, but I'm sure most of you do. Actress and singer Irene Cara, an Oscar and Grammy winner, best known for her theme songs of Fame and Flashdance. I can still hear those songs in my head. In the early 80s, has died. Her publicist said she was 63 years old. 63 seems really, really, really young. Really young to me right now. So they didn't say what happened, but the fact that she's passed on. We all have enjoyed her music and sent out prayers to her family. Yes, indeed. It was a really, really, really big deal. Just want to get back to John Gore. He was saying stay on budget. If you've been buying a gift for a person for the last 20 years, try suggesting this year not exchanging it. We know we appreciate and love each other. Just say Merry Christmas and give them a hug. I love that, John Gore. I just read that people who get the most hugs have the best immune systems. Did you hear that? Have the best immune systems. Give them a hug. And even if you have to give them a hug with your mask on, right? I can hear Gail in my head saying, but yeah, put your mask on. But you can still give hugs with the mask, right? Mike Nicholson, I was also dancing to all of her songs this weekend. And I can still hear the Fame song because it was just in my head so much as soon as I heard about her. Like I told you, we're not going to spend all day on the show today because we need to pace ourselves. And as we're transitioning, that's our inspirational message for today. Pace yourself. This is the time of the year when people start to get depressed. They have too many things to do. They can't get it all done. They don't have enough money to do what they wanted to do. They're feeling sad about so much stuff going on. Pace yourself. The race is not given to the swift. Pace yourself. It doesn't all have to be done today. And actually, it doesn't all have to even be done. Look at your list and then cut it in half. I'm sure a lot of you knew that back in August, on August the 3rd, I had a horrific fall. Just a horrific fall. I thank God every day that I'm able to talk, that I'm able to be able to sit here and talk to you, that my head is okay. But my body was jacked up. My ankle, I already had a bad ankle and it got jacked up in the fall. And guess what? Now I have to pace myself. For many years, people have said, hey, Deb, you need to slow down. Girl, you know you need to slow down. You can't do all this stuff. You need to slow down. And guess what? I had to finally slow down. God slowed me down. And people say, wow, you're really being disciplined. No, I'm not being disciplined. I'm being slowed down. I'm having to be disciplined. I am learning how to go at the pace that God has for me. It's not a race. I talked to a young woman yesterday at my house, and she said, I may not be keeping up with my peers. I may not be in school at the time when all my other friends are going to college. And I told her it's not a race. That you don't have to be in college this year if you're taking a gap year. Or maybe you're not taking a gap year. Maybe you're just doing something else. Run your race. Go at your own pace. And trust me, when you get tired, take a break. Take a break. Just take a break. You don't have to do it all. When you get up in the morning, just take a deep breath, meditate, and ask yourself, what do I really have to get done today? I am now at the point where I do no more than 2 or 3 things a day, period. I just think about what is it that I have to get done, and then I pace myself. We had family over this weekend. I usually go all out on Thanksgiving. I always use real china. I have all this stuff out. And this time I said, you know what? I need to pace myself. This year, we had Chinette. And guess what? It was still a good time for Thanksgiving. We had a great time. I use china almost every day. It was okay not to have a ton of people in the house and not have china. We had a good time. We played games. We laughed. We watched TV. We just paced ourselves. We didn't do as much as we usually do. And it was okay. I ask you all, pace yourself this week. We're going to pace ourselves on the show this week. There's going to be great news to be had, but we don't have to take all day to do it. And we'll get it done. And if we don't get it done tomorrow, we'll get it done on Wednesday. We're going to pace ourselves this week. I ask you to have a great week. I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to cut down your list. And when you look at it again, maybe you want to cut it down again in half. But in the meantime, stay well. And as Gail would say, make some bold moves, but take your time, pace yourself, and have a great day.
News in motion.